Akike's Renjiro. 84 years old. He had spent his entire life studying martial arts. Japanese Budo, then every fighting style the world had to offer. In his late 20s, he'd fought as a volunteer in a foreign war. The feeling of life or death, that extreme limit, was the greatest thrill he'd ever known. Now, camping alone in the forest near his home, he felt a gaze upon him. He turned. A bear. A brown bear, easily 3 meters tall. There shouldn't be bears in this area. Running was pointless, Vit would catch him immediately. Fighting was the only option. His heartbeat accelerated. The old thrill surged through his veins. Renjiro smiled. The bear charged. Renjiro grabbed his knife, stepped forward, and drove it deep into the bear's right eye. The bear's massive paw swept him aside like a rag doll. His right arm was destroyed. Broken bone, deep claw wounds, blood streaming down. But he grabbed a thick branch, sharpened it, and turned to face the beast again. The bear charged once more, mouth wide. Renjiro shoved the sharpened stake deep into its throat. The bear collapsed. Renjiro stood over it, breathing hard. Then his legs gave out. He looked up at the stars wheeling overhead. So this is how it ends. Not a bad way to go. When he opened his eyes, he was young again. A child's body. A new world. A new name, Asteria. In this world called Placidus, magic was real, monsters roamed the land, and an 84-year-old martial arts master in a teenager's body was about to cause a lot of trouble. He was taken in by a border village, where his combat instincts immediately marked him as unusual. When goblins attacked, Renjiro, now called Aster, dismantled them with techniques no one in this world had ever seen. The villagers called him a prodigy. He called it 80 years of practice. Word spread. A retired adventurer named Gallus came to see the boy warrior and recognized what Aster truly was, not a child genius, but a reincarnated master. Gallus himself was a former S-rank adventurer, now running a small training school. Come with me, he said. I'll teach you this world's ways. And you can teach me yours. At Gallus's school, Aster met other students. Among them was a young man named Sieg, tall, silver-haired, serious to a fault. He was training to join the Royal Knights. Their first sparring match lasted 30 seconds before Aster pinned him. Sieg stared up at him with wide silver eyes. How? 80 years, Aster said. I'll teach you. They trained together every day. Sieg was strong, disciplined, and utterly devoted to improving. Aster found himself looking forward to their sessions more than anything else. Sieg's earnestness. The way he pushed through exhaustion. The way he smiled, rare and brilliant, when he finally mastered a technique. You're staring, Sieg said one evening after training. You're worth staring at. Sieg's face flushed. You can't just say things like that. Why not? I'm 84. I've earned the right to speak my mind. Sieg looked at him, really looked. Aster. What were you, before? A very old man who never found what he was looking for. Aster met his eyes. Maybe I'll find it. This time. Months became a year. Aster and Sieg became inseparable. When Sieg passed the Royal Knight examination, Aster was there. When monsters threatened the capital, they fought side by side. When Sieg was wounded and feverish, Aster stayed by his bed for 3 days without sleeping. You idiot, Sieg whispered when he woke. You should have rested. You'd have done the same. I would. Sieg's hand found his. I would. After the capital was saved, the king offered Aster a noble title and lands. Aster refused. Give them to Sieg. I don't need titles. I just need a place to train and someone worth training with. The king looked between them and smiled knowingly. Very well. Sir Sieg, you are granted the eastern territory. And Sir Aster, you are granted whatever you wish. They built a dojo together on Sieg's land. Students came from across the kingdom to learn Aster's techniques. Sieg managed the estate. Aster taught. At night, they sat on the porch and watched the stars, the same stars Aster had seen as he died in that forest, now impossibly bright in this new world. You know, Sieg said one night, I've never asked how old you really are. In my last life? 84 when I died. 95 now, counting this one. Sieg was quiet for a moment. Then he laughed softly. I'm in love with a 95-year-old. Technically 19 in this body. Don't ruin it. Aster smiled. 84 years on Earth. More than a decade in Placidus. And finally, he'd found what he was looking for. The end?